energy like we talked about.
Yes.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is Day Drinking with Kimber.
And Amy.
We're so glad that you're here. Thank you for joining us today. We have an amazing guest lined up with us today, and we're so happy to be here, and we cannot wait to share some amazing wine and some other spirits with you today, and a story that's going to be pretty awesome to hear.
It is. And so we are so thrilled to show that Nashville is not just a bunch of twang. We actually decided to bring in Roy Agee. And Roy, we're so happy that you're here.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Excited.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Roy, so you tell us why Nashville has more than country. Tell us who all you've played for.
Oh my gosh! Everybody that has called, I've done anyone that's call me for God's sake. Yeah, so I've done I just was a kid that grew up playing the trombone in Mount Juliet, Tennessee,
Yes.
and played with everybody that came through my sphere of influence, and that just continued to grow. All I cared about was being as good as I could be, whatever it is. And so that pursuit led me to Prince's band eventually, and so I played with Prince 2012 until his death, and then I played with Lauren Daigle now, and I've played with Aretha, and I've done a lot of recordings, so I've played a lot.
So you playing that horn, like calling the pigs in.
Yeah, pretty much,
actually led to a pretty big career.
It did, I did. And my dad would say, "You gonna blow a bugle?" I said, "I am going to blow a bugle."
Who else did you play with?
Well, I played in the Glen Miller Band in my 20s, which was like this kind of ghost band thing, you know.
Yes.
The String of Pearls, and I remember we were in Japan one time, and we played this high school auditorium with the bucket seats, and we had to stand up and go Pennsylvania 65000, and the seat stuck to my ass, and it popped off. It made a sound. It made a sound, man. It made a sound. Like off that. And the drummer, who was what you would call a lifer, somebody that's never leaving the gig, was like, nice. He's dark, super dark. So that's how I started, And then I freelanced in Nashville, doing all kinds of gigs and recordings and stuff. So everybody from like the Gaithers to Prince and Stevie Wonder, got to play some with him.
Oh my God!
Wow, that's amazing.
But it's just by being as good as I could be.
Yeah.
I'll probably go home and practice today because I'm like, this is some shit trying to work out.
Absolutely. You know what? Being here, that you grew up around here too. That's what we were just talking about in our previous episode, is that it's amazing in this industry how many people and the genres of people that play music, write music, that live here. Yeah. And it's not just country,
but it's Music City.
We're Music City. We are Music City. Yeah. And I love being here because of that. That's one of the reasons why I guess I never moved away. I just enjoy living in Nashville. And so my question to you before we get going, I do want to pour some good wine today. I didn't think you would have a problem with that.
No.
It's really hard to talk without wine.
I know, it is hard to talk about wine. We're going to drink some amazing
I'm trying to get out of my
things.
own skin right now.
So one of the reasons why I chose we're going to talk about this wine today is that, of course, raspberry beret, Prince. It's like I should have wore a beret today, but I wore my raspberry shirt. This is one of my favorite songs. But I also chose this because the Bodyguard from Dow has the most amazing label on it, and I know even Prince was very flamboyant and very just so musically inclined with so many different things, but also culture and art, and it's just amazing some of the things that he transformed in the music industry with just fashion. But this art to me is so beautiful, and the one thing that I want to say about Dow, Dow is out of Paso Robles in California. I have been to the vineyards. It is absolutely amazing. Dow Mountain is just breathtaking. When you're up there, you kind of feel like you're on top of the world. They have some of the most beautiful Chardonnay I've ever had. Their Cabernet. They have the Soul of the Lion. They have one called the Pessimist, but they also have the Bodyguard. And the Bodyguard to me is super cool and fun because they use two grapes that I think are kind of unusual grapes that you would use. They're more blending grapes, but they're using a Petit Verdot and a Petit Syrah blend. And for about 18 months in French oak, and oh my goodness, and it's purple.
Yeah, I like purple too.
You know, I love purple. So I cannot wait to try this
We'll all
with you
have
all.
purple
We're gonna have
teeth
purple
that
teeth.
way.
We're all gonna
Yeah.
have to.
I already
We're
know.
all gonna have the white strips when we leave here today.
And we're
so,
going to thank Littman Brothers for bringing in this incredible wine, and thanks to
Absolutely.
Littman Brothers that we're here, being able to experience this, and that
thank
they
you.
are the distributors for this wine here in Tennessee. But what is the price point on this, guys?
you know, this one is it's not your super cheap everyday drinking wine. This is gonna run you probably in the 50s.
Yeah, I'm really mad at Kimber for bringing this. 'Cause
little
every time she
50s,
does this, my
60s.
palate gets more snooty.
I know, sorry. This is one of those ones that you want to have for a celebration, a really nice dinner to take to someone's house. You can have it for if you're grilling. This is amazing for grilling.
Or
so
if you just want to come to Wine Down Nashville and drink
come
right
to
in the
Wine
middle of
Down
the day.
Nashville and drink during the middle of the
Burn through
day.
about 3 or 4 of these bad boys, and you're good to go.
Absolutely. So
Call it
cheers to Dow Vineyards for making such a fabulous
Cheers.
wine.
Cheers.
Oh my
That
gosh,
is
Kimber.
beautiful.
All right, what are your initial thoughts?
And now I'm terribly allergic to alcohol. This is not alcohol, is it? Okay. Thank you. My initial thought is it feels like a hug from the inside.
Oh,
You know,
good
I don't-
analogy.
From your
Yes.
inside?
from my perhaps a loving entity inside of me, but not like my organs folding in on themselves. To be more technical, no. This is delicious though, and it feels like
That
really
was lucky.
full-bodied. That seems like a word you
No,
use
it is.
around
It really
wine, right?
is. Full-bodied is definitely full-bodied. You have the blackberry.
I don't know. We
cherry.
might need the sound man to taste it.
I know. Sound man.
Sound and camera. Production crew.
Production
Here's the
crew.
production crew.
Please,
So cute.
please try. Cheers.
Man, that
It is
really- I
beautiful.
can smell the wood. In that,
Oh,
I'm
it is.
sure.
It is so beautiful.
It's kind of like when you're thinking.
I hear that wood clinking.
That's right. I smelled berries.
It's all the
good.
berries. It's got that. You got those black fruits, your raspberries, your blueberries, your
A
blackberries.
little bit of that tobacco in there.
It does
too.
have a little tobacco
taste.
hint. Yes, you're
I'm
That's
gonna
right.
take
probably
this
why
back to
we
my
like it.
position,
Take that
okay?
back to
He's
your
from
position.
Virginia. We're from Tennessee. No wonder we like it so much.
Absolutely.
It's got
So
that hometown smell.
it
Like P.
does.
Paul's burn fire.
Peepaw did have some good bonfires.
I'll tell you what,
did.
here's a lot of burn on.
Did your
poor
grandfather?
Hey,
George and Daniel,
the
we
most-
love you and we love your wine. So
most
we are
endearing wine.
celebrating. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
So your granddaddy growing up, because you grew up in Mount Juliet,
did.
you're just right down the street from where I grew up. So did your granddaddy have any like little sayings and things that he used to say that for
Yeah.
people that move here go, what? What did you just say?
Yeah. He used to call us all, oh, you're a pistol. You're a pistol. And I'm like, I'm not carrying anything. I swear to God, I do not have a weapon.
That is great.
By the time I came along, it was 70s, and he was kind of coming off his rocker, I'll be honest, So it was like, you're a pistol. And then he'd wander off sometimes in the night. This is so weird. He would wander out of the house and walk down Mount Juliet Road, and my dad go, oh, Lord, I gotta go get Daddy.
Oh no.
So there was that whole era of time too. This might be a bit
Era.
much for a lighthearted podcast, but
So my granddaddy would say things like, idea. He'd answer the phone like, you have a good idea? And I'm like, you mean idea? Yeah. Or he would answer the phone and he would say, all right. He wouldn't say hello, all right? Or back yonder. That was always
Back
one.
yonder,
It's
yeah.
back yonder. It's like, what does back yonder mean? Like
I mean,
it really.
Every Southerner knows where back yonder
I
is.
do. I learned where back yonder was. I knew where exactly to go find it.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, you did.
if ever I had to help my dad, he would say, come yonder way with it, and I'd always go the wrong way. Always. No, yonder way.
You mean you grew up here and you don't know where yonder is?
No, he always knew. I never knew. correctly.
Yes.
Bless your heart.
Well, it's not, yeah, absolutely.
Darling. Well, so tell us, we're super excited to hear about your life on the road. I know you probably have some amazing stories, just, oh my gosh, and especially this last little venture that you had, even with Prince before his death. But he was probably one of my very favorite singers, the 80s, 90s. You know, everybody knows Purple Rain, which I have a story to tell you about that in a second.
Right on.
Which is a funny story, actually. In 1999, we all waited till 1999. Like, you know, what kind of party is it going to be on 1999? But, you know, Little Red Corvette was probably a favorite, and so was Raspberry Beret. That's why I have my raspberry shirt on today. But going back to that really quickly, my friend and I wanted Kelly, hi Kelly, Lane Murray, if you're watching. We wanted to go see Purple Rain, but we weren't old enough because it was rated R movie. And so, you know, back then you had to have your parent with you. Oh, well, not really. We went and we were going to see a PG movie, and we went to the movie theater, and we snuck into Purple Rain to watch Purple Rain. We were both so excited. The movie was over.
I'm glad your mom does not listen to podcasts.
Well, no, this is where that story's going. My parents were waiting. They were waiting for me when I got out of the movie theater because my bus driver also worked part-time. School bus driver worked part-time at the movie theater, who called my parents and said, "Your daughter just went into a rated R movie," and so yeah, I got busted. So
living in a small town.
Oh, it was a small town, you know, but it was one of the best movies, and I know it had to be amazing working for someone like him. So tell me about your story, your stint with that.
I got out. You know what? Let me tell you how I met him. So let's fast forward to the part where he calls me, and then I don't do it. Someone else does it for a while. They quit the gig. It comes back. The second time it came back, because I was already working here, and I was like, I don't know if I want to. I had just gotten separated and going into a divorce. I'm like, my life's already destabilized, and so I think I'm not going to do it. And then someone else does it for a year. That guy quits, and then I'm like, well, that's fate. So I can't sleep on fate. So I took it, and then when I got there, I was there for maybe 2 weeks rehearsing without him. He was in the building, but like no one saw him. And I wandered off on a break. And I really shouldn't have done that, but I wasn't thinking because I was exhausted. And so wandered down a dark hallway, and I saw quintuple platinum records lining the walls over and over and over.
Wow.
Just millions and millions of dollars worth of sales. And like, I was just like, wow. And it was just like creative. So I wander into this atrium, and then I hear a TV playing, and I wander into a kitchenette, and he's on the chaise lounge in black silk pajamas and light up platform shoes.
And platform shoes.
Yeah.
Silk pajamas with platform shoes.
And lots of mirrors.
Yeah, lots of mirrors. Oh my God, there were a lot of mirrors in that place. And I think he might have gotten them at Kids or something, because when he hits his heel, it lights up. He has tennis shoes, and it lights up. And I'm like, I know they don't sell that at like the shoe store for men and whatnot.
And whatnot.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. I ain't never seen that in my stores. You know, but so he had those on, and he looks at me, gives me side eye, and I go, "Hello, Mr. Prince," and he goes, "Hello," and I was watching BBC. I was like watching some news because I'm starting to tailspin. And then he goes, "Yeah," and I go, "I like news." Trying to like connect with him about how I too like the news. Like, who says that? No one says that. So that's how I met him, and I thought, I'm going home on Southwest, man. I know I am. I know I'm going home. But then it was fine after that. Working with him was cool because he has a really strong work ethic. So we would do 16-hour days, 6 days a week. We'd have Sundays off, but he was at all of it.
Wow, really?
He was there the entire time.
He didn't make you all rehearse with a stand-in and then just like pop him in at the end, like boom, like.
No, he was a hard worker, maniacal
Wow.
sense of discipline.
Interesting.
Yeah, which was cool. And he
Maniacal.
was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like driven, like this internal, like sort of otherworldly drive. I was like, wow, man, I don't have that. I need that.
Wow. Well, cheers to Prince. And
Yeah,
that's
seriously. Yeah,
yes,
cheers.
absolutely.
Cheers.
You know, I know that
Wonderful
they say he has many songs that has never been recorded yet that, you know, that I would love to hear.
He took me in the vault.
Did he take you in
I
the vault?
I went through the vault. The vault was extensive.
Wow.
It was wall to
my
wall,
goodness.
different forms of media, in a big room.
Wow.
Yeah. And they're
Amazing.
releasing stuff from it now. You know.
I just can't wait. It's amazing.
I just didn't know all of that.
Yeah.
That is. So, what was your favorite place that you went when it come to touring that you all toured at? What was your favorite place?
My favorite place with him was Montreal, Switzerland.
Oh.
And the reason being was like everybody would pack into this auditorium, so it's packed shoulder to shoulder, and it's as far as you could see, it's people. And so at the top of the show, he had put me in charge of hiding him at the top of the show. So he'd tap me, he'd go, and I'd get out of the way, and it'd reveal him,
Right.
and there would be an explosion. And I know I took hearing damage on this, I think, from my left ear, because he tapped me and I ran, and it was like,
Wow.
and that was an amazing experience. There was just a lot of dancing. There's a lot of footage of that one, which I never thought would surface, but now it surfaced, and I'm like, okay.
And you still have the ear ringing every time you see
Oh,
the footage.
yeah. I'm like, I hear him going, I made you about half deaf to me. How's your sign language?
I love it. I love it. That's
Oh my
so. I guess the other thing too. So before you started working for him, you've worked for some amazing artists since then.
Yes.
So I guess with that, kind of start us back at the beginning of when you started touring on the road. Or actually, what got you started in playing the instrument that you played? Like,
Yeah, because
what-
there aren't a lot of horns.
No,
in
that's what I was going to
Juliet.
say.
Not a lot. A lot of diesel
tell us-
horns.
I mean,
maybe.
what was it like growing up in Mount Juliet and being a horn
Thank you.
player? I mean, what was it
Absolutely.
like? Your family? Did they go? Could you call the sheep in, or like? I mean, how did that go?
Like instead of ringing
Yeah.
the bell, you know, play the
I mean,
horn.
like Little Boy Blue. I mean, that's
Yeah.
all I can come up with. For the,
Yeah.
Well, Cal doesn't like that one.
or as I call it, number 52. I'm gonna eat you.
Sally the cat will be in the field one day. Next week she'll be
Sorry,
gone.
Peta.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Just in case you're listening.
Now, just does it matter that I'm sweating like a dead hobo right now? It's okay. It doesn't matter. Okay.
Our production crew.
Oh, production crew. Hello.
my God.
The production crew.
Come on now. Let's.
The crew is
I mean,
lacking.
Our production crew's hot.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you.
You're my pleasure.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Namaste.
Cheers. Yes. You want to come back and do this every week?
Yeah,
with us?
come on.
Yeah,
Let's,
we
we'll
could
just start a little
totally.
cable access program. Yeah. Advertise feed and seed online for farmers in Lebanon. We go to that Lebanon co-op all the time now.
Oh yes.
What do you know, buddy? That was like every other word. Hey, buddy, what you know? Hey, buddy, what do you know?
And no one ever found out.
Never.
No, nobody
That's
know
all we
nothing,
know.
evidently.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So growing up in Mount Juliet.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what was that like blowing the horn?
I mean, it was completely. My first instrument wasn't a horn; it was banjo. And
That makes more sense.
That pleased my
actually.
dad, yeah.
And you said like your booty got stuck to the chair, and that was like the percussion section.
Yeah, I came right off the lifer. No, man, that's not cool. Like I could help that. Okay, yeah, so I did that on purpose, sure. It's a stunt I do.
Had good timing.
Yeah,
It is.
yes.
Solid timing.
It is.
Yeah, that's the. I just grew up playing a horn. I wanted to. They wanted me to dress out in PE, and I'm like, oh, no, I don't really want me doing that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do band. And then I'm like, well, I've done band, and I played several instruments, but I had a natural setup. I was built to play the trombone here, and that was it. And I was much younger. My lips were the same size, so it looked like I'd been stung potentially. We didn't know what was happening. We just knew it worked for the trombone, and so that's what I did. And then because I was an anxious little kid, I didn't talk a whole lot. Children sing, not heard.
Yes. Yes.
That kind of thing. So I was like, okay, all right, I'll eat cheese when I feel something. Okay, that's what we'll do with this. I figured that out right away. I can't get to the toy. I have to eat all the cereal to get to the toy.
The toy was the best part.
Yes,
though.
it was.
Always, no matter what it was,
And
as
the
long as it
sugar
had a
crash.
toy.
I got a tattoo.
And it was usually of like,
I'm sorry, I have a new instrument. I didn't know I was so talented until I sat next to Roy.
so did your granddaddy, was he like, were they your family supportive of you playing in the band?
Well,
boy.
my grandfather, I didn't really know either grandfather that well. By the time Buell was already like on drawers full of literally I opened a drawer and it was filled with Valium, not bottles, pills.
Wow,
To
yeah.
the brim.
Yeah.
And so he was kind of losing that. So I didn't know him that well. Roy, he talks crazy, so don't pay no attention to this. We went to a nursing home. He had this brother named Wilbur. Wilbur came to see me today. And Daddy said, if he come back, I'm running like hell out of here. That was their relationship, basically. But my dad was, I think he was proud of me. He was, if you learn to play Wildwood Flower, I'll buy you a banjo.
Oh wow!
And he did.
I love that song.
And I played it on a single string on a guitar. I didn't know. I was just like, That's it. That's the melody. You hear
Yeah.
it? And then he bought me a banjo. And we went to Curtis McPete's house, who used to play in the Nashville Brass. Danny Davis in the Nashville Brass, and this guy had wall-to-wall banjos, and I was fascinated. So I learned to do that first, and then I started playing a horn, and I wanted to be good at it because I was an anxious kid. I wanted to be seen and heard, but I was afraid to be seen and heard, that kind of thing. So I got good as I could get, as quick as I could get, because I wanted to be great at something.
Yes, yes.
And that, even that young, hey, all right, come on in. There's people.
Oh my gosh, we could do like a.
We have guests.
Oh my gosh, they should pop in. It's locked. It's locked.
Did they bring my pills?
Lee is the band leader for Darius Rucker.
Who's
Okay, so now we had to take a little break because in Nashville style, we just had Darius Rucker's band leader, Lee Turner, show up peeping through the door with his cute wife, Tiffany. So he's also a great singer, by the way, but yes, that is so Nashville right there.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So where were we? We were talking about your family being supportive, and you told me that like your dad wore overalls every day.
Every day.
I grew up here too, so my dad didn't wear overalls every day, but my granddad was known to wear them a few days a week.
Oh, yes.
And he had like the one nice shirt that my grandmother would buy him, the one nice white dress shirt that he would promptly ruin by working on the car.
Oh, yes.
And then she'd cry, and then a few months would pass and she'd buy him a new white shirt, and that he'd wear under his overalls.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So your dad, so like what was that like?
Well, he was a Mount Juliet native as well, and
Yeah.
so he just grew up and he quit school in the 8th grade and became a self-taught mechanic, and he put his brother and his sister through college and a doctorate.
Wow.
Because his dad when Daddy was growing up, my grandfather was off traveling a lot, so he became a man really early. And so that was his upbringing. And so he had a really super black and white sense of right and wrong and that kind of thing. And he'd say things like, "Looked to me like they wouldn't do that," if something didn't make sense to
So
him.
how did that interpret to when with dealing with Prince?
Yeah,
Right,
especially music.
By then, but he was gone by then. He was gone by then. But like he had come to a point where Roy does good with music, doesn't he? And he did that. But like for coming up, it was like, you blow a bugle up at school.
A bugle.
And that's what he'd tell everybody. Roy blows a bugle at the school. I told my cousin at a family reunion, I got the Prince gig, and I swear to you, he said, "Prince, that the one over in England?" Wasn't being funny. And I knew he wasn't being funny.
Yes,
and I'm like, I said, yeah, that one. The red-haired one. Yeah, that's the one.
That's awesome. Okay, so you've actually played for so many other people. So tell me about some other musicians that you've ever been to tour and play with. I think it's amazing that you've been able to do this. Your journey.
Well, all through my 20s, that was the big band. It was the Miller Band, and then in my 30s, I freelanced around here and got into the recording thing, kind of by accident. I never had much of a plan. I just sort of played and got busy doing that. And I was married, and that marriage was like doing time. So I got out of it.
That's like, not with you. Not with the production crew. Hey, I'm married to the production crew.
Yay to that.
At all.
So I was just like doing weddings and everything. I took everything. But I got to go to Thailand one time with Larry Carlton. That was cool.
Yeah.
And
Who's also, well, I guess his daughter.
he lives in Franklin or used to Beepers Fork.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's local.
But yeah, whoever calls basically. Well, Gladys Knight, and I've gotten to do
Whoever
stuff.
calls. Oh, Gladys.
ZZ
Gladys
Top.
Knight, ZZ Top,
Whoever
Gladys
just
Knight.
happens to show up.
CeeLo Green. Here.
Oh, just CeeLo, yeah.
A bunch of stuff doing it with him, and yeah. I really, people say, "What have you been doing?" And I go, "I need to leave," because I never have a good answer for it. I'm like, "Well, I've been home hoping that everything will be okay."
Oh, yeah.
How about you? No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
I know life of a musician is glamorous sometimes.
Yeah, it is. And then,
And sometimes it's not. Like what's the John when he worked for Donna Summer, one of my favorite stories ever that he's told me. I'm going to tell on you, honey. Is that he was playing with Donna Summer at Gay Day at Disney World, and they actually she had made him. They all had to wear these outfits, and so she had no shame in making sure that John wore a mesh black shirt with hot pink lettering that said "hot stuff."
Completely see-through.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
that's even more. Wow.
Yeah, so he had to be very strong in his masculinity, and then he. So what was like the craziest thing that someone made you wear on stage?
Oh my God! I had to buy a purple suit from Overstock and have it altered. I sure did.
Was it
Like
from
shiny
the Barney
purple.
collection?
No, it was from like
Barney
the collector collection. It was like kind of one of those shark skin numbers, And
Wow.
I was like, I had to wear that. I've had to wear like, a bear costume one time and play in it. I was
Oh, my
like,
Lord.
That was a low dollar thing. That wasn't Prince. No, he wouldn't do that sort of thing. He did make me wear an
Chuck E.
ascot.
Cheese
Chuck E. Yeah, I'm working weekends down at the Cheese. I'm down at Shakey's every Saturday.
So with you in the 20s, then when you were in your 20s,
Yeah.
and then you were touring, and then so tell me about some of the people that you played with when you first started out.
When I first started out, I played a lot of weddings, Easter services, anything that I sat in a lot. I remember that. I do remember that. It's kind of everything is vague memory, but I remember sitting in a lot. There was a place called Wolfie's on Broadway. I'd go sit in there with anybody that played. I didn't care what they played, what kind of music did matter.
Yeah.
So I just took my trombone in, and I sat in everywhere. And then people started calling, and I started doing gigs. And Maribel's, I used to play at Maribel's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And Larry, let's see, who else did I play with? I did a series of tours with Aretha, which was cool.
Wow.
I liked
Yeah.
her a lot, respected her
Awesome.
a lot. And God, I don't know.
You're making the word of the day. Wow.
Wow.
Yes, seriously. Wow.
That's trippy, bro.
Yeah.
And so, did you ever work with Reba?
On recordings, I never met her, but I did work at her studio. I worked for Garth Brooks at her studio one time, and I had a feature. They had written something. I thought, so I probably don't need a plunger mute. I didn't have mine. I didn't know where it was. And plunger mute is the thing, just like a toilet plunger you hold in front of the bell of the trombone. It's the thing that they do. Trumpets too, the smaller one. But I didn't have one, and it was like written plunger. I was like, oh shit. No. So I went upstairs to that bathroom, nothing. I went to the mid-level bathroom on the same floor, nothing. I'm like, oh, no. And I'm like, is there another bathroom in the building? There's one in the basement. And I'm like, okay. So I went down the basement, and there was a toilet plunger in the utility closet. And I broke the stick off of it. And I still use that plunger. I'll be using that plunger tonight on a plunger solo this evening.
Reba's plunger.
Reba's plunger.
Saved
I
the
think
day.
it might have had a little bit of her stuff on. I don't know. I cleaned it. I did clean it after the session. That was an emergency. So
See, I told you the word of the day is wow.
Wow, it is wow. It's
You
crazy.
Yeah.
S-H. Well,
You can't make it up. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up.
Fill in the
No.
blank.
I scared her at a buffet one time too, like years ago. I was at this buffet in Cumming Station, this like sushi buffet they used to have, and she's in there, and she doesn't know me, and I don't really know her, but she went by my table, and I went, "Hey, Reba," like that, and she went, "Oh, hello," and you could tell no more interaction. Stop right there. You're done. You shot it right
Did
away.
you give her a plunger back?
I have your plunger.
That I've been holding for all these years.
Appreciate you sharing your shitter stick with me.
The invitation is up by now.
That's great. Okay, so you've had some amazing musical artists that you've dealt with there in Nashville.
Dealt with is correct. Yes.
So outside of Nashville, like when you're like California, different places when you were traveling, who's some other really fun, cool people that you've kind of hung out with and did some fun stuff with?
Well, I went to Beyonce's house one time for a party. I was required to go.
Required to go.
This is not
Required
something
to go
I
to
mean. I would be
Beyonce.
like, I'm going to Beyonce's. I feel like such a douche even saying that, but I did do that, and I managed, and I always try to do something to make a memory for myself. And I asked Jay-Z.
What'd you take?
I said, Jay-Z, where's your shitter? Like that, and he just pointed down the hall. That's all he did. So it was fun. So I hung out with them.
Oh,
I hung out with other people. So there was a diplomat in
From Jay-Z
In
to
Ja-
diplomats.
diplomat in Japan that was the American consulate, and he was fun. He had a bunch of vinyl. this was, I was in my 20s, this was the Miller Band, and he had a bunch of vinyl and a bunch of old VHSs of rare performances. It was so cool. He was a horn player and also a diplomat, so that was fun. I got real drunk there. I got drunk in Mexico, Missouri, and asked to see the donkey show, and that's what got me let out of there.
Wow.
I saw in my 20s. It was a Patreon, not patriots, but the people paying for stuff. What do they call those? Money people?
The money people. The
Patrons.
Patrons.
Yes, wealthy patrons. I'm like, I was a donkey show. I was like 23. Roy, come on, let's go home.
Yes.
Let's go home.
So did you hang out with like, let's see, who's some other, God, okay, I have to back up for a second. So the Miller Band, I mean, you have to tell me like, so how long did you play with them?
I did a year with them, and so
Like
that
amazing.
year. And what I remember about that, there was a great trombone player that led the band. His name was Larry O'Brien, and he was from the big band era. So he had the vibrato can get lost in translation. The slide vibrato, you had the fast stuff that you'll see all the trombone players doing that in that era. They just sort of vibrated it, and that's a lost art because you don't do that anymore. But he had that. And so I learned it from him, and he was a great high note ballad player, which is another trombone specialty.
Yes.
And he could do that to death. He was an amazing player. And I saw Japan, and I got chased around Japan. People wanted to rub my belly all the time. I'm like, this is like, what the?
Was it there or was it at the sushi place?
Yeah. Either way, come in for a belly rub. That freaked me out as like businessmen. I'm like, oh.
Did they win the lottery?
Yeah, I was like, hey, come on, leave me alone, stop it.
There's put you in a ring and start doing some, put you in one of those little bitty, what do you call them?
We need to have an event here at Wine
Sumo wrestler with your
I've got a gig in Japan.
It's hard to hide your trombone in one of those.
I know. But not impossible.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
So
wow.
of all the places then and all the people that you have played with so do you have a favorite?
I don't really have a favorite because really, truly, every experience is different. And every experience, as a musician, I think this boils down to the nugget of the job, the nucleus of the job, which is building connections. So everybody's got something. Sure. I connect with everybody I've ever played with, if they let me. And if they don't, if I feel like I can't, then I don't try. And I'm not one of these like, hey, can I give you some things and you check me out? I'd rather just take a bullet in a non-essential area. But I connect with them. So like they're all cool and unique, and it's all the guys from Take Six are all cool. They all have hobbies. They're complete people. So, and Lauren, I connect with really hard.
Love her music.
Yeah.
Oh, and so
Love her
so
music.
you were just on television because I was flipping through and I saw Roy Agee television. So I was like, hey, there's Roy.
Hey, I'm on American Idol.
Yeah, American Idol. And so
Yes.
who were you on there with?
Lauren.
With Lauren.
Lauren,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm the most unlikely dude to be on American Idol maybe that you've ever met.
No.
Sorry, Lauren. I was
what?
actually in it for the Roy.
My daughters and I, we do listen to her, and we will like turn it up really loud in the car, and we all sing really loud at the same time. So when you ever pulled up beside somebody in the car, and you look over and like everybody's mouths are like going real, that would be us. We always love the music.
Wow.
So
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
fantastic.
So did you ever get to work with Dolly?
No, I've worked with her on recordings, but never met her.
I mean, this is Nashville. We have to ask every
I would
person
love
in our
to meet
room
her.
today. Dolly,
we
if
love
you ever
Dolly.
get to watch this, we were so into you. I mean,
We
as a
are.
woman, we're just like, you're way up on the list, way up on the list.
She's an
businesswoman.
incredible leader.
Yeah,
She is.
I mean, and I was just so excited for my husband because he got to mic her, and he's done recording sessions for her.
dope.
But as a production crew, he got to mic Dolly. If y'all know what I mean, that is like monumental.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
Mount Olympus.
Mount Olympus.
Whenever my daughter was real young, when she started the Imagination series for the library books, we started that, and I mean, my daughter would get so excited every time she would get a book, and so we would sit and read it front and back, and I mean, gosh, I know some of those books almost by memory. Like I could almost like tell you every page per page by some of the ones that she always sent. So, but you're right. I mean, Dolly has a huge following of people, not just in Nashville, but around the world, and everybody loves her because of who she is, her personality. She is who she is through and through. There's no artificial Well, there's no artificial. There is no artificial anything. Personality-wise, from Dolly, we love her.
Right.
So
No, I would just have to ask everybody in the room. I mean, every time we have somebody here, I would say probably 75% of the people that we have coming in here have worked with Dolly in
Yeah,
some capacity.
absolutely.
So, I mean, we have the Dolly connection somehow.
Yeah.
Except for me, I've never met you, Dolly, but maybe one day.
She's coming. She'll be here Wednesday. Yeah.
Wind Down Wednesday at Wind Down Nashville.
Oh, Lord.
Anytime I've worked for her, she always pays me more than I ever expect her to pay me. It's just always really fast. I mean, it's like the business. She's a business gangster.
Yes.
Like she has all that stuff majorly together.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you know, because she runs so many businesses and she delegates all that stuff. It's just like she's as iconic as Prince. I mean, they're equal in terms of like all the hits they've written, all that
Yes.
stuff there. I mean, she's a giant.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I really
Their
admire
shoes
her.
are probably about the same.
They're probably about
heel
that. They're
height.
probably
Heel
roughly the
height.
same.
Yeah, so
She
they
might
heel-
be taller than him. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say their shoes. They probably swap shoes a lot.
He loved her. I know that for a fact. He talked about Dolly.
That's cool.
That is
He
awesome.
listened to all kinds of music.
Oh my goodness.
So, being here, that you and I, all three of us, grew up in Nashville, all four grew up in Nashville.
Actually, not all four. He's a transplant.
he's a
But
transplant.
he can claim it because John is in Virginia. In fact, it was a prerequisite. I made the mistake since they were right on the line there at Richmond, and that's where a lot of things turn. Just to say, and I said to his mom one time, because everything we'd say here in Nashville, we'd call Aunt so and so, or if you're really from here, Ain't so and so.
Right,
You know,
yes.
and she would say Aunt. And and I'd say tomato, she'd say tomato.
Right.
And of course, I think maybe she did that just to be different. Nana was a little different. And so at one point, she kept saying aunt or whatever, and I said, are you from the South? And she went,
That ain't good.
and I
That's
almost
not
didn't
good.
get
The Great
invited
War.
back to dinner after that. And I was like, I'm just kidding, Nana. I'm just kidding. I almost didn't live through that one. To see another day at the family dinner table. But I mean, John has lost his accent or his dialect because he went to L.A. and I think you tried really hard to lose your dialect. But I knew something was, he always pulls out the chair for me, and he always, opens the door for me. He's a real Southern acting gentleman, but the dialect has, I don't know where that went. Where'd it go, honey? I don't know. But anyway.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
But anyway, I mean, so we were right on the line.
What's your favorite thing to do in Nashville?
I really love day drinking and going to bed. No, I'm kidding. It's one of my favorite things, certainly. I like the spirit of that. I can still connect to that thread that's still alive of what makes Middle Tennessee the way it is.
Yes.
Even though it's getting washed over and Los Angelized, but it's still there. And so that's what I like about it. That's what I really like about it. The scenery's cool. I'm from here. I lived in New York. It's like moving to Mars. I couldn't get rid of my accent, so they're like, "Where are you from?"
Right. Yes.
And I was like,
And do you really wear shoes?
No, I do around the house.
I never wore shoes growing up. I mean, seriously. I mean,
My brother never wore shoes.
I never wore shoes. I was always in a t-shirt and shorts.
all the time.
Oh yeah.
Your Daisy Dukes.
I had my Daisy Dukes. I always was barefooted.
Oh my God.
My Daisy Dukes barefooted, and
Give him a double.
I was never really
Thank you.
afraid. I was never afraid of like snakes or different things. And I would always, I remember one time actually taking a snake into my house, to my grandmother's house, and going, "Look what I found." I thought my grandma was going to have a heart attack.
my God.
Because I'd, come in the house with all these little critters I'd find. But
my
it was great growing up on a farm.
Baby's bringing a snake in the house.
Yeah. And all the good Southern things. Like I remember one of my daughters went to Southside Elementary where you went out, in Wilson
Yes.
County. So we all had that connection. And, still even in her time, that teacher says, they help them fill out a form. What is your favorite song? Okay, I like Big Butts and I cannot like it. I almost couldn't show up for school for that one. But the thing that was so Southern, the next question was, my favorite food is, and she told the teacher, a turnip green.
Seriously? A turnip green?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Just the one
One
turnip green.
turnip green.
Right.
Stuff. That beef was tremendous.
I mean, growing up on a farm, you would think that we would eat like more farm fresh foods. I mean, we did can everything. We canned everything. We kept it in a pump house. I mean, we had well water, was like some of the best tasting. Ice cold. Oh, it's delicious.
Yeah, it's
but growing up, my grandmother would make. The one thing I remember that her always making was homemade biscuits, kind of like when you have Loveless Cafe biscuits, those roll them all out, and she would use a soup can to like make the actual biscuits, and those were the best. I mean, till this day, I really wish I'd paid a little more attention.
I'll show you.
Because please.
Oh, Lord.
Yes,
I got it. We did it every Sunday.
Just rolling them all out.
I was the baby, so I got to have the leftovers.
Oh yeah, you make them little bitty biscuits.
Was called the baby
biscuits. The baby biscuits.
So I was so glad that no other babies were born after me because I got a little spoiled eating the baby.
Okay, I used to make baby biscuits. So yes, my kids, if you're watching, now you understand the baby biscuits, where they come from. So yes.
I'll teach. We'll go back to biscuit school 101.
Yeah. I need to go to biscuit school.
Yeah, I got it. I got y'all.
I need to get biscuit certified.
Maybe that's what we need to do. One of our episodes, we're going to just make some biscuits one day.
We'll do some wine pairings with the biscuits.
Yes.
Was there anything you wanted to show us before we wrap it up?
Yeah,
Because I think you had something else. And I've been looking at it, and I'm wondering if we need to...
Me pull a rabbit out?
Yes.
How about
an actual rabbit? Like, this thing's got rabies, I'm pretty sure.
How about a Bloody Mary and a black cherry?
Oh my God.
That's my kind of rabbit.
I didn't know if we were going to have an IV set up or like, a pole. I don't know.
So I have to say,
I'm down at the boo on Mondays now.
So we're gonna. One of the things that I love to do is have a little bit. Sometimes you just in the mood for like a Bloody Mary, and sometimes you just want to have something really cool and neat. But before we have the Bloody Mary, so one of the things that we actually carry, which I know a lot of times it's really easy too when you're making cocktails and things, especially here at the bar, to be able to have some really good things ready to go. And Filthy actually come out with these little pouches, which I think is so super cool because you can throw these if you're tailgating.
Did you say filthy?
Filthy.
Oh, damn.
Filthy.
Right on. I was like, I'm hearing
Look,
stuff.
I'm going to say it the southern style. Filthy.
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 So simple. Totally butt naked out there with a wine bottle.
They have, so I'm going to actually pour us. So this right here, you talking about southern. Let's go southern.
We like southern.
We like southern.
Yeah.
This is.
Oh wait, pour one for the production crew.
Production crew. Let me tell you.
Happy communion.
This is.
Right.
We're having a little
Where's
black
our unleavened
cherry.
bread? Ooh wee.
Oh, if the devil was a drink. Damn.
That tastes like a Jolly Rancher on steroids.
Sure does.
Isn't that amazing?
I sucked that whole bag down.
It would be. I've actually watched.
In a bag sucker.
No,
Bag sucker.
I have watched somebody literally do that before. Pop this off after they tasted it and literally sit and pour it in their mouth.
That's a low point right there. Might be about arraignments next week. Bam.
So this is Filthy has a little black cherry syrup, and let me tell you, if you're making an old fashioned or you're making a margarita and you want to just
Would
make
have
it.
never dreamed of that.
Oh, this makes an old fashioned or margarita absolutely fantastic.
So that's a little better than putting a cola in your bourbon.
Let me tell you, having
Might
this
be
in
an
your
upgrade.
bourbon, your
Might be an
bourbon,
upgrade.
that right there is freaking amazing, and I love it. Now,
Okay.
So
all right, lick your
glass. I know it's like hill in there.
Oh my Lord, that is so good.
The other thing, they also have some olive brine, which is nice because if you're making a cocktail, it's just fantastic. You need that olive brine, yes.
Like a dirty martini.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a dirty talking martini.
So
Filthy and dirty.
Filthy and dirty. That's right. Yes. They have a Bloody Mary mix, which this is like so easy and simple. And this is a new vodka that we just actually started selling.
Why don't we try the vodka just by itself?
Try the vodka by itself,
and then we'll put
because-
in a little mixer.
This is going to be something unlike you've never tried before. Look, he's
Wine
going,
down
oh
I like that
yes.
kind of mess right there.
So let me let you try the vodka first. Now, I'm not even going to tell you like on the nose. I'm going to see if you can guess kind of what you think this kind of smells like, because it has a distinctive smell, and everybody this week that I have tried this on has been like, oh my gosh, they've all said the exact same thing.
What do you think, honey? Would you like to try it?
I'll try it.
So this is a Vino Vodka. It's actually from Washington. This is all estate grown from Goose Creek. Look, everybody's going, oh.
That's nice.
Isn't that nice? This is made from grapes, and it's distilled 24
Vodka
times.
made from grapes.
Yes, white
No
grapes.
potatoes at all?
No potatoes. This is grapes.
Wow, that's really good.
It's got a very pretty vanilla, soft vanilla on it, but I'm going to let you taste it, then I'm going to tell you if it reminds you of something.
This podcast is sponsored by a designated driver.
That's right. I'm on a unicycle. I should be good. It burns right.
It does. I like the right
Oh,
burn.
stop it. Stop it some more.
Yes, hit it.
That's
Yeah.
so good. Well, so what does this remind you of on the nose? As a kid, growing up, what did, like,
Sweet, sweet alcohol.
Yes. This reminds me of my Uncle Jerry. God rest his drunk soul. Circus peanuts. Am I getting that correct? Circus
Yes.
peanuts, the big fluffy ones?
yes.
Yeah, those are it. That's
It
it.
reminds me of that, the fluffy circus peanuts, or like cotton candy grapes that you get, like that's so good at the store. And I mean, it reminds me of a lot of like my childhood things.
Oh
but
my gosh, that reminds you of your childhood. That's what a lot of people come out with in like years of care, but you already got right to the chase.
Jerry turned the boy loose. He's drunk. God love it.
Good for you. You're like lightning speed.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, you just went all the way there.
I just, I mean, it's one of those things. Don't you remember your grandmother used to have those like marshmallow things that
I think
smelled like?
my grandmother had just
You know what
like
I'm talking about? Like the candy,
the hard
that-
candy that
the
it all
hard
melted
candy
together
that melted
over the last 20 years.
and you had to like, pick
You want
something,
a piece?
and you like try to pick.
My grandmother chain smoked Pall Malls. She called them Pale Mills. She was so gets right.
It is though. I think every kid in America's grandmother at least had the candy jar that had all those candy pieces all smushed together, and you literally had to chisel them to get them apart to even get like a piece of something.
Right. So which one did this taste like?
I don't know. Like it just, I don't know. I guess I got circus, like that
Thanksgiving
circus
89.
peanut. Yeah.
That turkey's not even cooked, John.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay, golly. Well, I'm gonna tell you, that is the most unique vodka I've ever tasted and smelled, and it's amazing.
It is really
It is
good.
amazing.
It is
It is
delicious.
so
And
delicious.
I never heard of that being made from grapes.
It's grapes.
So, all right, tell the name of it one more time.
Vino Vodka.
Okay.
I'm gonna like show it.
Show the bottle.
And and he had a passion, believe it or not.
Stage it in front of the horn player for Prince.
That's right.
It's good marketing.
Because you like to drink.
He actually had a passion and wanted to, do this. And, it's all about becoming a dreamer and following your passion and making it happen. And so he did. And, and even the tasting panel gave us like 93 points. And that's really good. And it's one of those really craft vodkas that, is unique and different. And when you're making cocktails, which we're getting ready to make a little cocktail, and I've never made one with this for a Bloody Mary, but we're going to see how it tastes.
Wow,
And
so now it will smell like Easter brunch, 1999.
It sure will.
So now we're going to, so Filthy has one of their little Bloody Mary mixed pouches that are out, and so we almost need some, we had to swirl that around. But
we can
this,
swirl.
oh,
Do I start left or
Agent.
Vietnam era juice. Right
The great thing about it is that you don't even need, you don't need anything else.
This
Your
smells
spices
like a
are in
seafood
here.
cocktail.
It does, yes. It reminds me of something, if I was going to New York, I'm sitting in a
Can I
bar
put a shrimp in
somewhere,
that?
put a shrimp in it, put a piece of
I thought
celery
you
in
said
it.
shrimp. I'm like, you about to trip, girl. Let's go right to your bloodstream.
That's where my southern accent comes in. Shrimp.
Shrimp.
With a P on the end.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so
Wow.
this will actually make like 4 small ones or 2 large ones, and you don't need anything else. This
One
is just
daddy size.
so. Cheers.
In the
So.
car. Oh, God. Okay. Man, I'm painting a terrible picture. None of this I'm exaggerating. It's pretty.
Dang. Wow. Yum. That's
It's
different.
really good.
I definitely want to drink this by the ocean when I don't have to wake up. I just want to just lay on the beach.
I need a celery stick, and I'm
Yeah.
good to go.
I mean, Wine Down Nashville has like a really great view of the parking lot. But I always open the window in the evening and tell everybody, just envision the beach.
Look at that.
Just
Yes.
pretend.
It's really nice this time of year.
And now I can do that for reals.
For real. Love it. Thank you so
Cheers.
much. I'm excited for your next adventure. So, tell me about anything that you've got coming up. Do you have some fun things
I
coming
do.
up?
I have several public performances, which I can't recall because of the alcohol, largely, and some light drug use. I'm going to do a Tuesday here, a comedy night here at Wine Down Nashville. And I
Yes,
think
you are.
it'll be
And
wonderful
he
fun.
has had a lot of avoidance behavior. Which
I've
we
had
were
a lot
talking
of
about.
avoidant behavior. I have.
Yeah, we had one on the books. We had to reschedule. So that I feel like I had the trickle effect. I rolled the ball. Sorry about that.
All right.
But the ball stops here today because you're going to come sometime in
August.
August. So y'all heard that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Roy Agee comedy show here in August.
I can't wait.
And then he will no longer be a magician because you
No,
were a magician.
I was a
for while,
magician
right?
for so long. Oh,
Yeah.
did I tell you the honeysuckle story about Daddy?
No.
No,
I'll
please
end with
tell
that.
me. Like,
You'll
I
like
have-
this because you probably had family this kind of thing. You growing up here.
Oh yeah, we always had honeysuckle.
Oh, we did too.
Honeysuckle, and
Pulling
then,
off.
but my dad put diesel fuel all over it to kill it because he just looked at it as weed. I went down there and started chain eating it.
Oh!
And then Daddy goes, "Oh Lord God Almighty!" I remember him saying that loud because I'm mic'd. I don't want to blow, Oh Lord, no! Roy, that's got diesel fuel all over it. And I'm like, oh no, So I go up to the house, and my mom's like, "Drink this water, honey. Drink another water.
Drink the well water,
Get
honey."
some more water. Have some more water. You gotta flush your system. You
Yeah,
gotta flush your system."
Oh no.
I'm like, okay. And then my dad's like, "I ain't believing you don't want that." He didn't know, Melvin. He didn't know. I didn't think a boy got in the yard and grazed, Dorothy. Dead serious.
I would graze. I used to graze on
And that's how
honeysuckle.
he became a horn player in Mount Juliet.
He said, "That would have poisoned a rattlesnake. It didn't hurt you none, I guess."
Yeah, so one thing I remember growing up here is it's a honeysuckle in Tennessee was so good, and I literally would make myself almost sick
Yeah.
from eating so much, like just going in, pulling it off, and just
Yeah.
sitting and eating and
We
eating
did
and
that
eating and
constantly.
eating, and
Throw in the
so.
fossil fuel and you're really sick.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
And hey, look where it got you. So,
Yes.
Thanks, Daddy.
and thanks, Daddy. And thank you to Roy. Thank you so much for coming on
Yes,
today. Kimber,
thank
thanks
you.
for bringing us
Thank
this
you.
really cool stuff. Hopefully we'll be featuring a lot of these here at Wine Down Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to his comedy
Yes.
show. Thank you to my hot production crew. John
Lord.
Billings, my trophy husband, and
Fantastic.
Yes.
And thank you, Lipman Brothers, for being a part of this and letting us do our thing here because we really are enjoying your product. So
Absolutely.
here's to Nashville, y'all.
Yes. Cheers.
Super
Day
enjoyable.
drinking.
Day drinking. See y'all later.
Thank you now.